Good morning, students, or afternoon. I hope you're well. I realize we're in week 3, and in a lot of cases, some of you students are maybe struggling with the APA 6th edition writing format. I've offered the use of the meal plan, that is main point, evidence, analysis, and lead out or lead back, as just a fundamental way of thinking about constructing your paragraphs. However, there will be times where you're writing that you are going to maybe stray, if I can use that term a bit, from the meal plan. However, what that plan embeds is the structure that is required by APA 6th edition. Hopefully, you students have purchased that book. I hope you don't mind me using one of my students, very, very good student, I won't use his name, emailed me this week, and he was asking me a question about his discussion board for this week, where students have to embed a citation, they have to do a reference page, and more importantly, use the meal plan to develop an idea regarding equilibrium in economics. One of the things that I saw that was clear and present was that I don't know if the student is actually using the APA 6th edition, because there are some nuances within that if you're using that format, not you personally, but a researcher, a student, an economics student, then you would know. It's almost like in most cases you write your first name first on an application. You typically wouldn't go your last name, then your first name, right? If I saw that on the application, I might think, maybe they're from another country, or maybe they didn't read the instructions where it says first name, last name. And of course, there are documents where it says actually last name, first name. But the point I want to make is that there are some standard formatting components that are required when you use APA 6th edition. I'll give you an explanation, or give you a brief explanation here. So this is my dissertation for my doctorate degree, and I'm just going to use this top paragraph as one idea, right? Remember that a paragraph should only include no more than 13 sentences, right? But typically 5 to 8 sentences is all you want to have in a particular paragraph. In the case this week, I mentioned for you students to write a 3 to 5 sentence paragraph. Now keep in mind that each of your sentences have to have a noun, a verb, and a complete thought, right? That's going back to English 101. However, I didn't really embody that structure of writing until I began my doctorate degree 7 years ago, because I was used to writing the way I wanted to write. And as a professor, master's in business economics and business administration, I could write pretty much whatever I wanted, and to me it was correct. Well, it's because I wasn't being evaluated. So in this case, I want to help you students to write better, utilizing APA 6th edition, or 7th edition, whichever you choose, but 6th edition is my expertise. You will notice that 7th edition and 6th edition are very, very similar. The keys are to reduce redundancy in writing, to be clear and concise in every case, only adding the information within a paragraph that is detrimentally required, meaning you don't want to overwrite. And I used to do it all the time, right? I felt that in order to get my point across, I had to say it 3 different ways, 4 different ways, when all I needed was just one example, right? Because readers don't have the time to go through 3 different examples to understand that it's a beautiful day, right? I might say several things regarding a beautiful day. So I want to show you just a couple of things here, because I know that some of you have done your discussion question already. But kind of I want to show you like the way this is constructed. My first sentence is relatively long here, but you'll notice the main point is that financial success of small and medium enterprises in developed and non-developed countries can depend on management's ability to identify, manage, and exploit innovation systems. Now that's a relatively long sentence, but what it is it's a premise that I'm going to come back and back up. So in the case that you're doing a writings on macroeconomics equilibrium, you might suggest an economy's balance exists when there is supply and demand equilibrium in the markets. Period. That's your statement. According to Hubbard and O'Brien, macroeconomics equilibrium exists when the price and the quantity is agreed upon by both buyers and sellers. Parenthetical citation. Evidence researchers also indicate that equilibrium is an ideal position for any economy to strive or to thrive. Citation. Now, unless you came up with that, I just came up with that, right? So that's going to be, I did the main point, I did the evidence, now I'm doing my analysis. Further, macroeconomics is essential for economic continued growth. That's it, right? But you'll notice some things that I want to highlight here. So first and foremost, whenever you do a parenthetical citation, you have to use the ampersand. Don't use the and sign. And that's a dead giveaway that you haven't done your due diligence. I say that with all due respect. Secondly, anytime you use an article that has multiple surnames or multiple authors, you want to also make sure that it's in alphabetical order. You see D comes before N, comes before S, right? So this is a parenthetical citation that works. Next, I come in and I do evidence. I've developed the acronym right up here, SMEs, because this is a situation where, in the case of macro equilibrium, you might say macroeconomics equilibrium and then put in parentheses ME. And then each time you use macroeconomics equilibrium, you just have the capital ME. You don't have to write the entire word out again. Okay? Again, this is APA 6th edition. I go on to say that SME's innovation success relies on their ability to manage internal and external knowledge sources, developing firm-specific knowledge management. Nonica 1994. Now you'll notice this is just one author, right? So there is no ampersand. And I've also identified the knowledge management in parentheses because I know throughout this excerpt I'm going to use knowledge management several times. I also come back and say that Nonica, Kodama, Hirosha, and aha. Now, this is in text, right? Citation. And because it's an in text and not in parenthetical, you can use and there. And then the actual year of the work. Last, you'll notice my very last, because my dissertation was heavily research based. Like in most cases, everything that I wrote about, other researchers have also written. It was my job to come back and identify in my lead out or lead back that the objective of this study was to explore how firm-specific knowledge management practices affect business innovation systems and performance of SMEs. Right. Now I get it. You say, well, Professor Young, this is a dissertation. This isn't necessarily my work. But all I want to do is make sure to highlight the different components. Here is the main point. Here is the evidence. Here is the analysis. Actually, my analysis and lead out are actually incorporated in this last sentence. However, I must also conclude or let you know that this particular paragraph is called the foundation of the study. And so I don't use the meal plan exclusively here because I'm creating a foundation of why this research would be important to the ecosystem of knowledge management and accounting information systems. But as I go down, and you can, if you were interested in seeing your professor's dissertation, just go to Google, type in Henry, Henry, Dion, Dion, Young, Young, and you can pull up my dissertation and have a basis for why I am so anal retentive on APA 6th edition. But more importantly, this is something that as a college student, as a professional, you want to be able to write using less words more effectively. Okay, I hope this helps. Have a great week. And remember, writing is iterative. You have to write what you want to express. Think about it, read it. Don't submit it the first time. Go back and read it again. See where you can tweak it a bit. Then submit it. But if you do your discussion boards at the last minute, you miss the iterative component. Thus, your paragraphs are probably not going to be as good as they could be. Have a great day.